Using a bad crosshair is one of the worst things you can do in Valorant, so I'm going to be showing you guys 25 of the best crosshairs to use and put every crosshair code in the description. The first one is from the young goat Zekken, who's currently playing for Sentinels. His crosshair looks a lot like a basic dot at first, but the outline's thickness is actually set to 2 instead of 1, which I personally like because it makes things look more defined, and since Zekken is one of the best mechanical players in the world, I tried this one out. Next we have Subroza. He uses a crosshair with outlines on at 0.715 and his inner lines are 1213. He has outer lines turned off completely. I think the crosshair is great for anyone who's newer to the game since it's really basic and good for spraying since it's easy to keep track of. And it's not a crosshair video without mentioning Aspas, who is one of the GOATs currently. Aspas is easily one of the best players to ever do it, so he obviously has one of the best crosshairs. He uses a number of crosshairs, but my favorite one that he uses is the 1322 crosshair. This was one of my first crosshairs in the game and I used it for a long time. And since you guys are here looking for crosshairs, you need to check out VALORANT Tracker. Not only can you find an entire crosshair section on their website, but in the app you can find valuable analytics for your in-game performances, including weapon stats, agent stats, map stats, and even agent guides. You can use VALORANT Tracker to see which agents you're doing well or poorly with, so you know if you're doing something wrong. One of the best parts of the app is being able to see my teammates' ranks and stats in agent select, which helps me better pick which agent I should play that match. Another thing I like about the app is these colored bars by their names, which will show you who's queued together, meaning you can know if a toxic duo is on your team. And you can even see your stats mid-game as well with the special overlay beneath the leaderboard. This is useful for telling you if you're having a bad game, or it can be a nice confidence booster too if your damage per round looks way better than your KD. So don't wait, check out VALORANT Tracker by tapping on the link in the description or pinned comment. Now let's get right back to the video. Up next we have another candidate for the GOAT of Valorant, Tenz. His crosshair is pretty similar to Aspas's, except it's 1422 instead with outer lines and outlines off. He uses it in the color cyan, and I mean if you just take one look at Tenz's aim, you're going to want to try this crosshair out if you want to even be half as good. Then we have Forsaken. He has always been an outlier with his crazy plays and his crosshair is no exception. His crosshair outlines are set to 1-1 with center dot off and his outer lines are 0-1-1-3, and the color is set to blue even though it looks like it's black, and given how good Forsaken is, there must be something up with this crosshair. Cned, who's one of the notorious GOATs, who's most well known for his jet plays and how mechanically gifted he is, this is one of the first plus sign crosshairs we'll see in the video. For his crosshair specifically, he has outlines off, inner lines at 1520, and his outer lines are off. Cned created some of Valorant's most iconic clips, so be sure to try this one out. Sayaplayer has always been one of my favorite professional players to watch, and his crosshair is one of my favorites since it's so unique. He uses outlines on at 0.5 and 1 with center dot off, inner lines are 1311, and outlines are off. Cryocells has a pretty similar crosshair to Cned, but it's not quite the same. Cryo has outlines off and center dot off, and his inner lines are 1420 with movement error, and he has firing error and outer lines off. Cryo is one of the few players that I see play that actually impresses me mechanically. This guy's the GOAT, so try this one out. Tarik is a former CSGO major champion of the past, but he's still pretty good at Valorant, and he's even reached rank 1 before. He uses a pretty standard dot crosshair, which is pretty much my main crosshair these days. For this one, turn outlines on, opacity at 1, thickness at 1, center dot on, center dot opacity at 1, and center dot thickness to 2. Then we have Wook, who is one of the best players in the world. Not only has he made the finals of champions and masters, but he's also had a ton of iconic moments during it. He runs a pretty similar dot to Tarik and Zekken, but one thing he switches up is using it in red. I think this can improve visibility for certain people. And then we have Fishy, the Fortnite GOAT, who's funny enough using a red crosshair. You guys might want to try this out since he's so successful with red crosshairs. His crosshair is pretty similar to Cryo's, but Benji plays a lot of Cypher, so the red contrasts with Cypher cages pretty well. So if you play Sentinels, I definitely would try this one out. Then we have FNS, and since he's everyone's favorite aimer, I had to share his crosshair with you guys. He's currently using the 1322 inner lines crosshair in the color green, which is similar to Aspas's crosshair. This might just be a winning crosshair, so try it out and you might hit a win streak. The next crosshair comes from Les, and he is looking absolutely amazing recently. A couple years ago, Les was one of the youngest players in VCT, and since then has become one of the most accomplished players in the entire league. His crosshair is inner lines 1210, which makes it pretty small, but it's perfect for hitting one taps and being precise. Then we have Asuna, who's one of my favorite pros to watch because of how unpredictable he can be. If you look away for just 1 second, you might miss out on a crazy play for him. He has outlines on at 1-1, center dot off, inner lines are 1-2, 1-3, and outer lines off. And if you want to play like Asuna, try this one out. Zelsis might be the content king, but he needs a good crosshair to pull off these crazy plays. His crosshair is pretty different from all the ones we've looked at so far. It looks a lot like a rectangle, and to do it, just put your inner lines at 1152 with movement error and firing error, and outer lines turned on with the color blue. Then we have Leaf, who kind of goes under the radar as one of North America's best duelist players. He's got a pretty unique take on the plus crosshair. It's much bigger than any of the others we've talked about so far. For this one, turn outlines and center dot off, and inner lines use 1821 with movement and firing error off, and set outer lines to 1043. Then we have Alphayer, who is easily one of the best players in the world. His crosshair is a traditional dot with the color blue. For this, turn on outlines at 1-1, center dot with opacity and thickness at 1-3, turn off inner lines and turn off the outer lines, then set it to the color blue. Then we have Jing, who's an anomaly when it comes to mechanical skill in Valorant. Jing is one of those players who could actually win a tournament at any moment due to how good he is. His crosshair has outlines at 1-1, center dot off, and inner lines at 1-2, 1-2, and outer lines off. This is a really clean crosshair, and I might start using it after this video. Then we have Fluorescent. Fluorescent is absolutely cracked, and there's not many people with as good as aim as Fluorescent. One of the crosshairs I found is the one with a very dark crosshair. To use it, turn on outlines at 1-1, inner lines at 1-2, 1-3, and outer lines off. You probably won't hit shots like Fluorescent, but it's still worth a try. Durke has stood on top of Valorant for a long time, and I don't think he's going anywhere. His crosshair is another dot crosshair, but it's a bit smaller than the other ones we've looked at so far. For this, turn outlines at 1-1, center dot at 1-2, turn off inner lines, turn off outer lines, and turn on movement and firing error. Then we have Ethan, the most recent world champion, and I think he's one of the best initiator players in the world. He's got a crosshair that's different from a lot we've looked at so far. So for his, turn on outlines at 0.503 and 1, center dot off, and inner lines at 1611 with outer lines off as well. Even one's been having a rough time recently, but things are looking up for him, and he also has a crosshair I really like. First crosshair, turn outlines at 1-1, center dot off, and inner lines to 1-3-1-2, and leave outer lines off, and make sure the color is set to white. Then we have Ye, who's another person who's had a rough couple of years, and he uses an incredibly tiny plus sign crosshair. For his, turn outlines on and center dot off. For inner lines, set them to 1420 and leave outer lines off. This is about as tiny as I'll ever make my crosshair. Any smaller, it looks like a dot instead. Then we have Koala Noob, who recently played for Na'Vi. He's been a demon in the Challengers League. For his crosshair, turn outlines and center dot off, and set inner lines to 1521, and then turn outer lines off. Hopefully he does good in franchising this year, so we'll see. And to send you guys off with the final crosshair of the video, we have the googly eyes crosshair. This one is pretty funny since the eyes move when you shoot or move. And if you want any of the crosshair codes, make sure to grab them from the description. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and like. It really helps out the channel. And if you're someone who's looking for more crosshairs that I didn't include in the video, you can use the Valorant crosshair database website. Then when you find one that you want to use, for reference, I'm gonna go ahead and use this Boaster crosshair. You just click on the crosshair and then click copy code. Then hop on Valorant and click the import profile code right here, paste the code in and import it. And just like that, we now have a new crosshair that was not seen in the video.